Hello, my lovelies. I hope everybody's doing well. Today we are talking about the Barefoot Bandit, you guys. Yes, this phenomenal young man, Colton Harris Moore. Right now he's 29, but his date of birth is March 22, 1991. He is connected to the aviation in a sense because as a young boy at school, he was in love with planes. I mean, he drew planes. His passion was planes. He knew them by name. He knew what motor they were using. He knew the model, the make, just by watching them. I mean, that was his passion. Unfortunately, his upbringing was a little rough. His mom did the best that she could as a single mom. Dad wasn't really in his life. He was a drug addict and he was in and out of jail, unfortunately, which led to his mom, kind of taken basically all of the responsibility, and so they weren't financially that comfortable, and so she couldn't really afford a good life for him, but she gave him the best that she could, and so he started stealing. And he started, being in and out of juvenile institutions. And so he got into a lot of trouble, you guys. So just from stealing, stealing cars. The house that he lived with his mom was kind of like a trailer out in the wild, okay? It was kind of like close to like a forest type thing. And he knew the woods really, really well because he would escape. He would try to escape the police. And for him, it was kind of like a cat and mouse game. Knowledge that he gained from wood survival kind of has helped him evolve as a thief. As a teenage, he was a fugitive, okay? So what happened is convicted of theft at a very young age. He had done over like 12 offenses by the age of 12 when he was convicted, which was really young. He was in and out of school, just wasn't taking that seriously. And so when he was convicted, they put him in a juvenile institution where they kept an eye on him. He was able to escape that facility. And as he escaped, that was the beginning of his entire journey as a barefoot burglar. He started escaping the police. He was known as the escape artist. Every time they tried to capture him, they couldn't get him. He would get into cars easily, start them up, and he would always hit the luxurious cars. So he'd be in Mercedes, BMWs. He would also break in most of the houses in the neighborhood and make himself a meal, enjoy the day. Some of them were abandoned. Some of them he would go in at night, just steal some food, steal what he could. He was always aiming for money. He would go to hardware store as well, grab as much as he could, try to open the safe. He was just eluding the cops constantly, and they were always after him. They could never ever catch him. They couldn't understand that. They almost caught him at one point because they knew it was hard because they were always one step behind him because he was just so active. He was just going from one place to another and they couldn't catch him. I think within 2 years, they almost caught him because he was in a home and they thought that they were going to catch him there. Unfortunately, he was able to evade. He was able to escape with his friend. And so he got away from the cops and they were all disappointed because he would escape in the woods, you guys. He would know how to survive in the woods on his own. He was still with his mom, in contact with his mom on and off. He would go and have a sandwich there and leave. And then the cops would ask the mom questions like, have you seen your son? And she'd be like, yeah, he's my son. If he's hungry, I'm going to feed him. And they would all mad at her because she would never communicate that with the police officers. So they would always miss him if he was visiting with mom. So obviously she wasn't collaborating with them because, hey, that's her son after all. So she was a great mom. She just didn't have the tools to provide an amazing life for him. She did the best that she could with what she had. He was a great kid in the sense that he wasn't violent. Nobody really feared him. They didn't fear that he may do something and arm them. And he was passive in that sense, which is good. He did some great things along the way. Even though he wasn't caught, he would go to, as he's traveling, let's say he's stealing a car and he's driving along the road, he would drive by some animal shelter and put $100 in an envelope and put it for the dogs there to help. And he would do little things like that just to show that, hey, you know, I'm not a bad guy. But he would always let the cop know where he's at. He would either announce himself and, hey, I'm here, or he would call, or he would let people know that he's there, just to continue with the chase and the adrenaline, which was kind of interesting. The fact that he made head news is because he could not get caught until he decided he wanted to, but we'll get to that later. So he felt that just, you know, getting into businesses and getting into homes and which is getting boring. So he decided to steal a car and just kind of travel all of the states in the United States. So he just drove and continually drove and would stop and steal and stop and steal. And like I said, the cops were always a couple of days behind. I couldn't catch him because he was always on the go. One day he decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to take this one step further because this is getting boring. I'm going to steal a plane. So he would watch this airport and see all these little Cessnas coming in and out. And on one point he decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go for it because, oh, get this, you guys. He, with all the money that he stole, he would order books, okay, and video games and softwares, anything he could to teach himself how to fly a plane because he was already knowledgeable as a young child. That was his passion. So that's what he did on his spare time because he had a plan. So he studied apparently thousands of books on how to fly a plane, believe it or not, you guys. So he self-taught. So not only did he self-taught how to, you know, break in homes and break in cars and boats, because he did that too, but he would also teach himself how to fly a plane. So get this, he would order with a fake ID, a fake credit card, the documentation, like the books on aviation, and he would order them and to be sent at this public store. Okay, so what he would do is whenever they would get the mail, he would do the tracking on USPS. He would see that those packages delivered, then he would break in that particular business at night so he could steal the mail and get his package. This guy was amazing. Anyway, so he was very intelligent and he had a mission. His mission was to fly a plane. So, and he did, you guys, he actually did. So he set surveillance on this airport for days and days on end until he figured out where the key was, where the plane was going to be, and when he could take it. He would steal it at night just as the sun would kind of come up. He would get into a Cessna and take off. The first flight was uneventful, but then he started getting complication. For some reason, lost control and the plane went down, kind of crashed, but he was able to grip and have control somehow. Remember, this is his first flight ever. The only way that he learned how to fly was from all the books that he had read and the simulators that he practiced on. Anyways, the plane crashed. He survived. Apparently there was vomit all over the window. So obviously he got, you know, sick because the plane was just all over the place. Landed in the field, got out of the plane, started his stealing motion all over again, started stealing, getting money from stores and whatnot. Apparently he went up to he had like $20,000 at one point. Then he camped in some woods. A lot of people got word that maybe that could have been him. At the beginning, they just thought it was some kind of drug dealer gone bad that they stole the plane, but they found out that it was him. So they set all of the police officers to go and search that area in the US. They couldn't find him again. They looked through the woods and they had found his campground because people reported some activity in the woods and a lot of theft going on in that area. So they knew that was the Barefoot Bandit. Was up to no good again. And so they found he was so in a hurry because they almost caught him that he took off and left everything behind, including his dog, who he loved and who he traveled with everywhere. And so apparently they pounded the dog. Okay. They pounded the dog and he was kind of like considered evidence. So they kept him. And they wouldn't release the dog to his mom because she got word that his own dog could not be returned and she wanted him, but they refused. And she was like, well, it's evidence for what? It's a dog. What kind of evidence is he or she? I can't recall if it was a male or a female. But that did not stop Colton to jump the fence of where the dog was staying and go and get his dog back. And he did. So yeah, if he's gonna steal money, why not steal his dog back? Duh. Hello, that's my companion. But unfortunately, the money was confiscated. All the money he had stole, I think there was over $22,000. He ended up losing all that. But that was nothing for him because he was just on the hunt again to steal some more. So that was not a problem for him. Now, he eventually, stole some more planes and did some more of these. He always crashed somehow, just couldn't really get a good landing. His last one was pretty, I hurt him a little bit, but he survived. And he decided on his last flight that he stole, he decided to go to, I think the second one or the third one was in Canada. And then on his last flight, he decided to go to the Bahamas, you guys. So he was like, hey, I'm going to the Bahamas. He lands, doesn't he steal a boat? Once he lands, gets into that beautiful boat, goes cross country, arrives in the island of the Bahamas, and tells everybody, hey guys, I'm the bandit. Look at me, report me, call your authorities, it's me. So we don't know if he wanted to kind of give himself up or just let everybody know where he's at to continue the chase. But all these people there were already aware of him and they were on the lookout for him. And there was a huge ransom. And they wanted that money, you guys. Like the Bahamas, they are like money hungry for that ransom. They wanted it bad. They knew it was him. At the beginning, they didn't know if he was for real. But when they found out that the boat was stolen and that he was saying, I'm the bandit, and he's a really tall guy. He was like 6 feet, I want to say he was 6'4" or 6'5". So he wasn't a short guy. So it's really easy, and he was young. So it was easy to kind of notice him. He was also barefoot, you guys. So most of these things that he would do, whenever he would go in the woods, he would be barefoot. Whenever he'd steal a boat, he would be barefoot. Whenever he'd be in a plane, he'd be barefoot. So that's where he got his nickname of the Barefoot Bandit. So when he announced to everybody that's who he was, come and chase me, takes off with that boat. I want to call it a cigarette boat because that's probably what it looked like. And so 2-3 guys got into the boat, tried to chase him, couldn't, went back to shore, told everybody else got on. And then they brought some guns with them, which is horrible. And just ran after him and tried threatening him. And they finally got him. When they did, he was able to escape because they actually pointed their guns to his boat. So what he did is he jumped. He jumped into the water, got to shore, ran, and they all ran after him. He hid in the bush. They found him and finally apprehended him. And the police, the Bahamas, apprehended him after so many years on the run. I believe it was over 2 years. And he got caught because he wanted to get caught at this point. I think he wanted to end the chase since he just kind of like, I told everybody in the Bahamas, hey, I'm here. Not before he enjoyed the Bahamas. He did stay there for a few days. There's a woman who reported seeing him, who he wanted to talk to his mom via the internet on a cafe internet place. And she knew who he was because of all the media coverage that he was getting for the last couple of years. And she felt bad and she never reported him because he kept on saying, I don't have any money. I'm here. He was a little hurt from the crash, from the airplane crash. He wasn't, as coherent, I guess, or physically fit as he was. But he said, I don't have any money and I want to talk to my mom. Can I use your cafe internet system? And she said, yeah, sure. And he was hungry. So she offered some food as well. So she knew who he was, but she felt, she was an older lady. She was in her role as a grandma and just decided to take care of him and be caring. So that was a sweet move, She didn't care about the ransom either. So anyways, he got caught and he's serving a long-term prison sentence. He also was offered by 20th Century a $1.3 million deal for his movie. And he accepted, so they did. And so those, they get more into the details of what happened. But the money obviously doesn't go to him. It goes to all of his victims, all of his break-ins, all of the plane that he crashed, all of the boats that he crashed, and stole all of the cars and the lavish lifestyle that he had for a couple of years. So I hope that you guys enjoy this story. It's just a summary of Mr. Colton here, Colton Harris Moore, who, I'll be honest with you, was a hero for a long time. Again, he's not aggressive, so I don't condone, anyone that steals or breaks in or does bad things. But I just think that he thought outside the box, and he was, you either hated him or loved him, but he was very highly admired, and he became this hero to a lot of people because, I mean, it takes guts to be always on the run and not have anyone catch you, but not doing harm. I mean, you are, but it is material thing. It's not harm to people. And so at the end of the day, it was all about his education, and he tried to reach out. Nobody was there really to help him growing up. So they feel like the system failed them, which I kind of agree. But at the same time, he didn't turn to violence in that sense, which I admire. And in his mind, he did the best that he could with what he had. But it was very impressive. If you enjoyed the story and you want me to do it every Friday, let me know. Just comment below. I hope you enjoyed this little video on Mr. Moore. And yeah, tell me what you guys think if you saw the movie or if you've heard of him. He's pretty fascinating, isn't he? All right, tell me more and I'll read the comments below. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.